Today we're going to talk about dividing fractions. We actually been covering this. We covered this last week a little bit, but we went in a little bit more detail today. Keep, change, flip is something that they should remember from last year. Ms. Norman actually taught it this way, but this is referring to just division, just dividing those fractions. All right. Keep means the first number or the first fraction is going to stay the same. This is called your dividend. This is the one that's being divided, the one that's getting divided, the one that's getting split up. So we're going to keep this one the same. So we draw a line. Your dividend is always going to stay the same if it's a fraction or if it's a whole number, or sometimes it might be a mixed number. Change. The reason why we change is because no one knows their 1/5 timetables off the top of their head and can split them off like that. So therefore, we want to make this easier. We put it into multiplication form. We all know how to multiply, or we all should. All right. So we change our division sign to multiplication, and we flip. We do the reciprocal. The reciprocal is the opposite of a fraction or a whole number. So if you remember from before, 6, which is a whole number, is actually written as 6/1. We're going to flip it. We're going to do the reciprocal of 6/1, which is 1/6. Now that we have that, now we can multiply. So we do 1 times 1, which gives you 1. We do 5 times 6, which gives you 30. So we know that 1/5 divided by 6 is the same thing as 1/5 times 1/6, which equals 1/30. All right, let's try that again with a whole number first this time. Let's see. Let's do 5 divided by, let's do 1/7. Okay. Now remember, our first number is always getting kept. So in this case, remember it's 5, but we know it's written as 5/1. So we bring that down, 5/1. We change our division symbol to multiplication, and we flip or do the reciprocal of 1/7, which is 7/1. Now we can multiply. We have 5 times 7, which in this case gives us 35. We have 1 times 1, which gives us 1. Well, we know 35/1 is the same thing as saying 35. Any number over 1 is itself. Okay, so therefore, when we have our test, make sure that your children are familiar with just writing the answer like this. They will lose a half point if they write it as 35/1. That's the same thing as not simplifying your fractions or not putting it into its simplest terms. Okay. The next part that we worked on, and I'm going to try to zoom in on this a little bit more. There we go. This is what we actually worked on in class, word problems with division. And we have to look for what is being divided up. And we need to write it out the correct way. And we'll actually switch to a pen. Give me a second. All right. Our first problem here, it says 1 lap around the track is 1/4 miles. Jose wants to run 5 miles. How many times must he run around the track? So what we're trying to figure out here is that he wants to run 5 miles. So that's what's getting divided up. 5. And we want to figure out how many 1/4 are in 5. So it's 5 divided by 1/4. Okay? We're not trying to figure out how many 5s there are in 1/4. We're trying to figure out how many 1/4 will you have to run to make 5 miles. So in that case, then you set it up. You have 5 divided by 1/4, which is the same thing as saying 5/1 times 4/1. Remember, keep, change, flip. This equals 20. Because we know it's 20/1, but it's the same thing as 20, and it's 20 laps. All right, if we go on to our second one here, this one says there's 1/6 of an extra large pizza left over in the fridge. If 3 friends share this pizza equally, what fraction of the whole pizza will each friend get? So in this case, what are we trying to split up? What are we trying to divide out? In this case, we're trying to divide out the pizza. So we know there's 1/6 of the pizza left over. So we write 1/6, and we're trying to divide that among 3 friends. So in this case, it's 1/6 divided by 3. When we do keep, change, flip, we keep 1/6, we change that sign to multiplication, and 3, which is 3 over 1, gets flipped over to 1/3, which gives us our grand total of 1 and over 18, 1/18 slices, if you want to say. Alright, so 1/18 of a slice, or 1/18 of a piece of pizza. That's a very small amount. But as you can see here, we're looking for what is getting divided. So if you stress that part to your child tonight, that will help them out a lot. Looking for what is being divided up, and then the second part is by how many, or how many times are we trying to divide that part up.